Morning and welcome to the Morning Post, in courtesy of the Racing Post and sponsored by William Hill. We've got an absolutely packed card for you today. We've got racing from Sandown and York. We've got a look at Royal Ascot. We've got a look at the Euros. And to help me along, we've got two great guests in the studio here, starting with the man directly to my left, Aidan Coleman, better known as rider of John Bon, super jump jockey in his time, now retired, now a broadcaster for the Racing Post. And he told me last time he came on, he's a bigger fan of the flat than he was of jumps. Is that right?
Yeah, I quite like my flat racing, I like the pace, pedigrees and pace and quick turnaround and... Yeah, and it doesn't hurt as much watching flat racing as it does jump racing these days.
I bet. Brilliant. So you're going to have a few winners for us today and next week as well then, yeah? You've done all your study?
Yeah, done all study, I know what's going on,
never stop studying. Tom Segal.
I wish.
Unless it's a sprint, of course.
Unless it's a sprint, avoid them. Bit tired, Keels, watching football and golf until the late hours.
They're not until 3:30 tonight, are they, the golfers? Sorry, 3:30 their time, so 8:30 our time. Horrific.
It's a long old day when you're watching golf until 2 o'clock in the morning.
Absolutely. And of course we go to the trading floor as well at William Hill. Johnny, how are you?
Yeah, very well. Looking forward to a good competitive Saturday before the main event starting on Tuesday.
Yeah, good stuff. You've been pricing up everything, Johnny, have you, for Royal Ascot? You're doing it day by day because we're still getting 5 days through, aren't we? We've got Friday to come today and then obviously Saturday won't be until Monday.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a little bit different to Cheltenham. So obviously we get sort of a blank canvas to go at instead of the endless previews. So it's I do enjoy it from that sense of it. But we've got a big boost today that we're going to try and take one on at York. It's the 3 o'clock Relentless Voyager. We're going to go 7-2 from 5-2. We think we've got 3 good horses running for us there. So yeah, Relentless Voyager 7-2.
Relentless Voyager. That's the impressive Epsom winner on Derby Day, wasn't it?
It was really impressive. I think this is a step up in class, and you got a bit of distance to make up with Real Dream.
Absolutely brilliant. Well, Johnny, we'll talk to you a bit later. We're going to rush straight through because we've got our very first guest of the day on, which is former 3-time champion jockey Richard Hughes, a winner of no less than 25 Royal Ascot races. Is that right, Richard?
I thought it was 31.
Really?
I thought it was 31.
Did you? Oh, I could only find 25 on the Racing Post website. I'm blaming the Racing Post website. Did you have any before Sergeyev in 1995?
No.
No. So that was the first one for Richard Hannon, the Jersey Stakes of 1995.
There's probably 5 of them shouldn't have won. Maybe you missed them ones.
I've got them all written down here, but unless I can't count. But there we go. 31 Royal Ascot winners. Sorry, Richard. So you must have had some great memories there, obviously. I mean, Sergeyev being the first, you followed that a couple of days later when the Kingstown was later in the week on Piccolo. But I'm imagining your favourite horse of all time at Royal Ascot must be Camford Cliffs.
Yeah, any horse to ride there 3 years in a row and not let you down is something special,
Yeah, he looked really good when he won the Coventry Stakes, and then of course he won the Irish Guineas, and he came over and he was having a rematch from the Guineas, and he destroyed them that year in St James's Palace, didn't he?
Yeah, he was really good that day. He pulled his shoe off turning for home. I got away with it. I could feel him lose it, and I was on one rein up the straight, but he managed to win anyway.
Talking about Baron shoes come off, whenever I'm studying form, there's always, every other race, vet said, horse lost shoe, etc. I mean, it happens so often. How much does that actually affect a horse?
If the ground is firm and they lose a front shoe, it definitely has an effect. Or if they're going around the bend and it's quick ground, they lose a hind shoe, they slip and lose their confidence a bit. You'd rather have them on, put it that way.
Right, yeah, I'm sure you would. I'm sure you would. And of course, a famous horse that won at Royal Ascot too for you, Paco Boy. Half the racing world absolutely convinced that he was a 7-furlong horse. The other half said he would stay, and of course he did stay that day in the Queen Anne.
Yeah, I was writing my article for the Racing Post that time, and it was banging on that this horse would stay. The same as Camford Cliffs, everyone said he wouldn't stay a mile when he won the Coventry, but we proved them all wrong, so it was nice.
Yeah, sure, brilliant. Right, now we better look ahead because You haven't yet trained the winner at Royal Ascot. I know that one's right.
You're definitely right on that one, yeah.
But you've gone very close. In fact, your very first runner at Royal Ascot was third, I think 33-1 a few years ago. You've had Call in the Wind, the legend that is Call in the Wind, second, and third in the Queen Alexandra, second last year in the Ascot Stakes. And your last runner there was fifth last year in a massive big field handicap. I've forgotten her name now. But so thank you for that's it, Candle Hope. So you've got plenty that have run really well, and you've got quite a few down there this week. So who would be your best chance? Would you think that's Bracken's Laugh?
Yeah, I've 10 runners this year, which is a great team of horses to go, and every one of them you can make a case that they deserve to take their chance. We're favourite more or less for the Hunt Cup, Regain. Bracken's Laugh is a serious chance, top rated in the race probably. Fair Angelic in the Sandringham, Cambu and the King George. There's a load of good runners. Yeah,
Real Gain, recently bought by Watherton Racing. He's only run once this season, and it was only a midfield race, at Newbury. How's he going now? He's obviously been well supported in the market.
Yeah, I'm afraid to give him another run in case he go and win. We planned this race since last run last year. I backed him up a bit quick in the Group 3, and I thought he ran a little bit flat on the day. And he ended up finishing beside Spirit Dancer, was it? Alex Ferguson's horse.
Yeah.
And he went on to win all those races abroad. So I knocked him on the head and said, right, we're going for the Hunt Cup.
Right. So this has been a long-term plan then.
Yeah. Now I know it's a long term, but now I need the draw and I need a good ride and I need a bit of luck on the day. So it's I'm in the lap of the gods at the moment. But I think he's the right horse for the race. He's improving and he's in great form.
Right, there's one horse that interests me a little bit. A horse who ran in the Derby, Cambu. Now he's in a handicap there, and he's also still in the King Edward VII Stakes. But he's got a handicap mark of 89. I suppose that's an interesting way to get a horse handicapped, have his third run in the Derby.
I was quite shocked actually. If I went on a novice with him, he'd got 94, I'd say. I run him in the Derby and they give me 89. Maybe they're right, but any horse that runs in the Derby, you'd like to think they're in the 90s minimum. He wasn't quite ready for the Derby. The owner was keeping him rolling. Richard Kingscote nursed him around lovely for me. And he's come on a ton from the race. And I think I really rate this horse. And I think 89 is, well, I think it's a very good mark. But you need it in this race.
Yeah, absolutely. You need it. You need a draw. You need luck in running. We all know that at Ascot. Talking about, just going back to your time riding at Ascot, we know you've had 31 winners. I'm going to go and look for them when we finish the show. But were there any that you thought really got away from you that you should have won?
Oh yeah, I should have won the Hunt Cup for Andrew Bowling. Probably the worst ride of all time. I can't remember her name. I think George Baker ended up winning the race. We were drawn on the far side on the rail, and nothing was winning up that side all week. So I missed the kick and ended up on the stand rail. Couldn't get a run, finished on the bit, finished about 5th, and 3 horses stayed on the far side and they won. So,
that's what
well done.
That's what
happens. I always used to say that I would back a horse on the straight track at Ascot, and the jockey would decide he couldn't win from one side, so he'd absolutely make certain that he wouldn't win by going all the way to the other side. Yeah, that's what happens. But it's amazing at Ascot, isn't it? Like the first couple of days, routinely every year they seem nobody wants to test that far side, and then you come to the Thursday, someone goes over there, and a bit like last year, wins a Hunt Cup by a street. Stay where they are.
Yeah, drive you mad, and the uncertainty is even worse. But when you're drawn, you love a bit of pace around you. You short price ones in around you as well, so you can follow them through. But it's a race, invariably you have to drop right out. They go very, very fast.
Yeah, I mean,
not many make all in the Cup and win.
That's right. I mean, Tom said there's a course where you wait and wait again, isn't it? That's it. And it's you've got to see the race out, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's no surprise that Richard had such a good record there, and Jamie Spencer on the straight track. You just got to wait. Who's going to ride Real Gain, Richard?
James Doyle or Buick, I'm told. James hasn't made his mind up yet. I think he's just teasing William. He said, all my life I had to wait for William, so he can wait for me once.
Brilliant. Right, Richard, we can't let you go without talking about today's runners, of course. You've got 3 with seemingly a very good chance, according to the betting. We'll start with Sandown, no half measures.
Yeah, she's in the handicap in Ascot, and that was the plan, and I just had a sneaky suspicion this race had cut up with Ascot on around the corner. So today we're aiming for a bit of black type. If we can get that done, it'd be marvellous. And we'll back her up anyway next Friday. We backed her up quick when she won in Goodwood last time, but that doesn't bother her. She's a filly that's improving and got stronger, so I wouldn't surprise me if she
run
went
whatever,
more.
yeah. She'll run whatever then, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. And of course, it'll be a penalty as well, wouldn't it? She wouldn't go up in the weights or anything like that. It'd just be a penalty, wouldn't it, if she won today?
It'll be a penalty, but the most important thing, if we can get a bit of black type, our job is done, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. Right, we move on to Chester. You've got Brunel Nation. Yeah,
I love this little horse. He was meant to run there in the May meeting, and he had an abscess in his foot the day before, couldn't run him. And we went to Goodwood, drawn 14, I think, down in that hole. And he had one horse behind him turning for home. He got beat, I think, 1.5 lengths. So he's a really good little horse. He's a great turn of foot. Hope we get a bit of luck and run. I really fancy him to win.
What about the rain? Because it's due to hammer down there, isn't it? Would that be an issue?
Good ground, I'll get away with. The slower it gets, the slower he'll probably go as well. But,
right, okay. Well, that's
he's handled kind of slow ground in Newmarket when he won.
Right, but there's an awful lot of rain forecast up north now, and heavy showers, both for Chester at York, so punters need to take that in mind. And you've got Synodin at Sandown as well. Is that how you say it?
Synodin, yeah, he's won around there. He's a funny little horse. He won really well in Kempton this year when I didn't think he was ready, and he's thrown in 1 or 2 bad runs. We put a pair of blinkers on him today, drop him out, and hope he runs better.
And good, last one you've got there, Aljadel at Bath, but a bit of an outsider by the look of it.
Yeah, I think she'd prefer the ground a bit quicker, to be fair. But we let her take her chance anyway. If she doesn't handle the ground, she might come down a pound or 2.
Right, brilliant. Thank you very much, Richard. Listen, one thing before you go, give us one horse at Royal Ascot, the one horse to back.
One horse.
Well, I mean, you give us 4
if you want value,
but...
I would go Cambu each way in the King George.
Yeah, in the King George Handicap. So Cambu's going in the King George Handicap. Richard,
yes.
Thank you very, very much for joining us. Best of luck today. Best of luck next week. Let's hope you get off the mark at Royal Ascot.
Cheers, guys. And well done. Congratulations, Aidan, on retiring. Haven't seen you since.
Thanks, Richard. No, I appreciate that. No, thanks. Give me a couple of rides.
Pleasure watching you ride.
Cheers. Thank you.
Well done. Bye, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Where are we going next?
I don't know. You're the host, Keels. Don't ask me.
I don't know. Paper round. Well, someone's going. We've got a paper round coming up, but they've got to put it on screen. And I know what I'm talking about. All right, it's coming thick and fast. Sprinters take centre stage on a packed programme featuring York and Sandown. England's must-win 2020 clash I didn't even know was happening, and obviously some football going on, which we'll get to. Right, ability to the fore in the Commonwealth Cup for slow burners, says Keith Melrose's preview of the Macmillan Sprint Handicap at York, which is often a very, very good sprint handicap. Murphy's relief that the Tory stuck to his word over riding at Ascot, so obviously I see Murphy is going to get plenty of rides at Ascot, and he's not going to get jocked off by Frankie, who's not riding. Johnny Deneen, resident Irish pro. He's a keen on one on York, but the best bet of the weekend is over jumps for him. Talk in the Park, 2 o'clock at Downpatrick tomorrow. Elman Jedworth, another chance to show he's a talented sprinter. That's Saturday Sizzlers with Graham Rodway taking over for me because, yes, I am still on holiday even though I'm here. 4 selections for him then. What? No, Tom Segal.
No,
Tom Segal, the man
way down the list.
The man who's been banging in with us, left,
right,
and
it's been all right. It's been all right recently. Surprising.
Yeah. Right, here we go. We're going to York now for the first race. Johnny, how do we bet? We've got the Queen Mother's Cup handicap for female amateur jockeys. This looks a right hard one.
Yeah, just to say we're playing top price guarantee here, so a really, really strong set of prices to kick off the Saturday racing. Lord Melbourne for Tom, that is the one there. Usually in a race like this, we'd see a fair spread of money, but since logging on this morning, that is 5 from 8, and it's sort of one-way traffic for the Beckett horse.
Tom, you ruin prices, don't you?
Well, he's got
absolutely ruin. Always ask when you're doing this, right? When they've gone that short, would you back them now? How?
I don't. I know 5 to 1
would you
for
have a minimum price. Like,
yeah. I'd have a minimum price, and 5 to 1's about it for a competitive Lady Riders handicap round York. Is it 18 runners? I don't know. 5 to 1's plenty short enough, but I think he's got a very good chance. I mean, it was a much better race than this at Epsom last time. He finished up. I know your horse that got no run, Clifford Lee rode it. Liberty Lane. It's very good form. It's much better than this race.
Oh, absolutely.
Bolster would be a very short price to win this. It's got Serena Brotherton on. £2 lower than when he ran at Epsom last time because he was out the handicap that day. I think the step up to 1.5 miles will suit. He's won on heavy ground, so it won't mind if it's rain. Plenty going. Only had 8 runs. Big improver. Danger is a range, who stays further. That's the one negative. He's 1.5 miles for Lord Melbourne. He's not really proven over it yet. A range stays a lot further. Jodie Townend's over to ride that, and she's obviously she won the race last year. She's a crack jockey.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, Aidan, do exposed handicappers, amateur riders races on the flat do anything for this?
No, I found this race very, very tricky to figure out. I went for Piece to the Resistance. Right. Just 'cause he's got experience, he's got form over like £10 higher back in the day.
He ran in this race last year.
Yeah, and he ran really well the last time. So he second the 20 runner race last time, and he was second. It was kind of a very tricky race to figure out. Yeah. I kind of worry about the favourite Stamina as well, as Tom alluded to there. And I'd worry about, is it Star Jasmine's experience no experience in this kind of field.
Yeah, she's only run over a mile.
Yeah.
And half a furlong. I mean, she could take off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the.
It's not certain to stay on pedigree.
No, she could be unexposed. Yeah. But at the same time, it's a big step up in trip, isn't it?
It is.
All right, so the brief study up that I managed to do after getting home from Spain yesterday. There's 2 that I thought might run well. Thundering.
Yeah.
Who hasn't run at all well, but he's well handicapped now.
Yeah.
And has a little piece of York form that's okay.
It's funny, isn't it? He's got 1 run at York that's very good, and he finished last every other time.
Every time, that's it. And Toshiju is a horse that always looks well handicapped and never wins.
But
basically.
He likes York too,
But he likes York too. He's got some good form there. And I know that Johnny Deneen's tipped Barishnikov in his column. And Johnny, what do you fancy?
Well, this is unbelievably tough. I would have a token each way about an Anderleap here at 14.
There we go. Right, shall we move on to the next race, lads?
What we got next?
What we got next? Come on, I'm waiting for it. Here it comes, 205 Sandown.
Oh, that's a good race.
Sandown, my local course. You see, I'd be going racing at Sandown normally if I wasn't stuck in this. Another reason at the moment. No, I wouldn't. I had no plans to go.
Are you going to make it this afternoon?
No, I won't. No, I'm not. No, I've arranged to take it easy. But no, Sandown's a regular.
This is the man who flew in from Spain last night and went straight out for a Chinese and down the pub. He's going to take it easy.
You've got to get back to normality, haven't you? Right, really, really tough handicap here, Johnny. How do we bet here?
Yeah, we're playing 4 places here, nice competitive handicap. We've got the Sandown standing dish, dual identity at 5 to 1, Flying Frontier 11 to 2, making a seasonal reappearance, and then Dancing Magic out to 7 to 1. Obviously, he disgraced himself at Epsom. I won't be touching that with a barge pole. And Bill Silvers is the money horse here, 17 to 2 from 12.
Yeah, that's annoyed me, that is, because when I was looking at this last night, Bill Silvers was one I came down on. I never had a bet. No. And he ran a really good race in that Spring Mile at Newbury.
Oh, that's good form, isn't it?
A good piece of form, and he's done most of his running at 1 mile and 2, isn't he? And he doesn't seem to get it.
I don't know why they've run him up at 1 mile and 2 the last twice.
Yeah, so he definitely interests me, and of course he's got trap 1 as well, hasn't he?
Yeah. I would imagine he'll get a nice forward ride. Always helps at Sandown up the hill there. He could go well. I quite like Flying Frontier. Just thought, I'm a James Tate groupie, really. I like him in this type of races. He does really well. He's had 6 runs, beat Iron Lion, is it? Or Iron, the David O'Meara horse that won. Yeah. He's beaten that twice, thrashed it twice. ran really well at Yarmouth last time against a good Godolphin horse, and the speed figures and the time was excellent. So it's a question of working out whether he's ready for the day, but I think he might be. It's a big, valuable Saturday handicap. So he's also in the, I think he was in the Hunt Cup before this. I don't know if he still is, but I think he'll go well. But Dual Identity's got such great, I mean, Aidan will know, he's got tremendous Sandown form. Horses for courses, is that a thing?
Yeah, I think it might be a bit too much read into, but this horse, his last 4 runs at Sandown, he's had 3 wins in a second, so you can't ignore that, can you? And he's obviously won his last start, which is good form. As you say, your horse had first run since September, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Is it Dancing Magic? Is he a maiden?
He is a maiden.
Yeah, so like it's...
I don't think he's a maiden.
No.
He won his very first start and hasn't won since.
He hasn't won. Has he won on turf? Was it? Did he win on?
Yeah,
maybe
not.
I can't remember. But
won a while anyway.
No.
You know, it's
a long while.
to run in a race like this, I think, you know...
See, if there's loads of pace, which there could be, I wouldn't be surprised if Jamie Spencer's horse Mascarpone ran well from out the back, because Sandown's a funny track.
Yeah.
It's a pace. We'll call it like it's on a pace knife edge. If you go the right pace, you want to be in front, like we saw yesterday. If you go a bit too fast, just a bit too fast, you can come from way off the pace.
It's stiffer than people think it is. If you go and walk it, there's actually a big climb from the bottom of the straight to the top.
And
absolutely.
If you drive through Esher and you like walk on, you see on the side as you drive through, it's like it's very steep.
Yeah. But I mean, it's of course it suits front runners because all the jockeys know that, so they go so slow.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so they're saving something.
It's hard to make ground up a hill then as well, isn't it?
Sometimes if they do go fast, it's like anywhere.
Exactly.
Over jumps, you wouldn't want to be too far back down in there, even though it's 3-4 furlongs to the line. You still couldn't give too much ground away. So it could be similar enough on the flat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So who were you tipping? Dual Identity.
Dual Identity.
Dual Identity.
Going across form.
Johnny.
I'm playing 2 here. Flying Frontier, I think, has potential to be a bit better than this class. And then one right down the bottom, Blue Light Bay. This could be any old price. I think he's got the potential to win a race like this off this mark.
Excellent stuff.
It's one of yours, Keel's Blue Light Bay, isn't it? Eve Johnson Horton?
Well, it will be one of mine, but I don't recognise it. I mean, I don't think I've backed it before. Put it.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Eve Johnson Horton. I mean, I have these things. If I haven't been following racing and I just want to have a fun bet or something, I go down the cards and Eve Johnson Horton and Pam Sly.
Yeah, perfect.
And I back them.
And they win.
And Lucy Modern.
And they win.
They'd be by 3.
Yeah.
Right, we're moving on to the next race, chaps. Let's get it on there. 2:40 at Sandown. The Scurry. Good little sprint, this, Johnny.
Yeah, A Day in Devon is a favourite at 9-4, but relatively weak. That opened up at 7-4. Flora of Bermuda 9-2, and the horse for money is Night Eyes 11-2 from 9.
Oh, 11-2 from 9, big move there. Not the one you like, Aidan. You quite like one here.
I love Flora Bermuda. Yeah, I think like obviously she won her group in the Queen Mary last year. Then she won at Goodwood. Second horse has won a group race since. She did disappoint her first run this year, but there's been a couple of times where she disappointed where she hasn't been great in the stalls. So that's the only worry I have. But I think if she gets out, I think she's a good thing.
You'd be happy if the ground stays fast?
Yeah, I think she'd be okay.
Especially
right, yeah, course there, she'd be fine.
Up the hill, be all right.
Yeah, be fine.
Of course, they say that, of course, don't they? Yeah, if you're going up the hill, you get away with it if you want to be.
Yeah, I think she'll be okay. Just getting the stalls is the worry, but I think...
Interesting, O'Sheen comes here as well, because he's obviously got the Relentless Voyage. Could have gone to York, couldn't he?
He could do a full book anywhere where he goes, so I'd imagine this is probably the one that brought him here.
Yeah.
You in the same camp?
Don't know. I found this really hard. I thought that the 2 at the bottom rated are Night Eyes and No Half Measures, and I thought they were short enough yesterday, and now Night Eyes is
even shorter.
Right, so I thought Symbology had a chance. He's drawn on the outside, but I remember when Clive Cox was doing his Royal Ascot Sable Tour, he said we're going to run 2 in the Commonwealth Cup. Jassur, who I think's a really good horse, and Symbology. I thought that was quite interesting that he was thinking of her in that. You know, she ran in lots of good races last year. I know William Buick's been booked, so I thought she might go well at a price. But I mean, I was a big fan of No Half Measures until Richard came on and told me that they're trying to get some black type and going to Ascot next week. So I don't know whether 13-2s might be a bit short.
Okay, good stuff. And Johnny, again, what did you like here? I'm
with Aidan here. I'm going to be following Flora of Bermuda off a cliff. I think she needed to just start a little bit quicker, and she's got a great chance.
She seems to have just gone out to 5-1 from
Since you
9-2.
boys have tipped her, she's 5-1. Well done.
Yeah, come on, let's simmer her up, get the punters in. You'll have 11-2 in a minute.
See, Symbology's gone to 8.
Excellent. Right, final race that we're looking at today. We have the Churchill Tyres supporting Macmillan Sprint Handicap. Absolutely impossible, but bear in mind, and always an exceptionally good 3-year-old Sprint Handicap. Some serious horses have won this, and there's a very, very good pointer to the 3-year-old Sprint Handicap at the July meeting as well. I think the last 5 or 6 years, the winner has come from the first 4 or 5 in this race. So keep an eye on that. Definitely a race to record. Johnny, what do you like in this wide open race?
Yeah, just say we're playing 5 places here. There's 2 horses that have been sort of backed by the rest of the field, El Monjed and Ziggy's Condor. I think they've probably just bottomed out around 92-5-2 on that. They've got, they've got obvious claims, but I think there's a really good horse here in Pocklington. He might not quite shown it yet, but that form at Newbury is a lot better than this, and I think it could be a group horse in the making. So I'll be, as long as the ground doesn't get too soft, I think Pocklington's got a great chance.
Tom, I have a feeling you're in agreement.
Yeah, brilliant. You mean, you'd know Keel's pedigree. It's all the York pedigree from Ladies Forever is his dam. His brother won at York. It's by Blue Point. There's not many better sprint bred horses in the country. Jeff Oldroyd's got one, Blue Point out of Ladies of Forever. Couldn't get much better than that. I think he might be a class above. The question I've got is the ground. I don't think he wants a lot of rain to hit York. Right. If they manage to miss the showers, I give him a great chance.
This is because I'd be going for the other class angle if it does rain. That's James's Delight.
Yeah.
Because I thought he looked very, very good when he won at Ponty. He looked very, very good when he won at Newmarket. It was only good, but that ground was much faster than given at Newmarket.
That was very fast. It was front runners cleaned up, didn't they, that day?
Absolutely, yeah.
And so
was extremely fast, and he definitely doesn't want that. I thought he was the interesting one because, again, they've got, what they're saying, potentially very, very heavy downforce.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few others in there. Serried Ranks, for example, for the King and Queen, Troop in the Colour today, came up on the train. More medals than in the Olympic vault on the train on the way up. It was. He beat Starlust at Goodwood last time. He beat him easily. Starlust is rated £24 higher than when he beat him that day. And I know after that, Rafe Beckett was saying he got lofty aspirations for this horse, and he sort of was rubbish at York next time. But he ran okay at Sandown last time. Could see him going well. And if there's a draw bias potentially up the stands rail, which the last 2 have been drawn 20 and 19, I think, in this race. And yesterday they all came on the stands rail, if you watch the racing. I thought Charlie Hills' Chief Manicato might rail. Aidan might know more about the jockey, Tom Kiley Marshall. No. He's a £7 claimer from Ireland who's just started riding here. He's ridden like 14, 15 winners in Ireland. Right. And he's come over, and I don't think he's ever ridden for Charlie Hills. I just thought that was quite an interesting...
who he's based with over here?
He's been riding for... I can't remember. Maybe Ollie Pears or someone. But he's been riding for someone up north. But he's ridden loads of winners in Ireland. I thought that was an interesting jockey booking.
But you don't know anything about it?
No.
That's put you on the spot.
Yeah. Over the hour we were talking outside. Done that.
How many people are there in Ireland? You must know.
I wondered if he'd ridden for your brother.
He hasn't, no, he hasn't, no.
Aidan, your opinion on this one?
Well, I woke up this morning to see my selection was a non-runner, so I've gone with James's Delight again. I found it difficult to split them yesterday. But
what was the other one?
Woodhaven Wonder.
Oh, Woodhaven Wonder, yeah.
Obviously would have won now, it's a non-runner, but no, I think James is I think Ryan Moore is very interesting. Look, it's stating the obvious, very interesting jockey booking. He just seems to be good, then bad, good, and he was bad the last day in a listed race, and I think he'll run well.
Yeah, I just think that ground was just way too fast.
Yeah. Interesting Elmerjed's so short, isn't it? Because he didn't show much last time, I didn't think. It's got the cheek pieces on for I mean, it's a Haggis
unexposed angle, isn't it?
Haggis anyway, Haggis at York.
Haggis at York.
That tends to be where we go with this.
Yeah. I don't think he won this race. Don't know. Might have. He had one very unlucky a few years ago. Jamie Spencer rode it up the rail and got stopped a few times, and same owners as James Delight. Oh no, Recon Mission won the race.
Yeah. Hard race to win anyway. That 21 a handicap, but 21 a sprint handicap at York, isn't it? Right, we've got to move on, and I think we're going to. Oh, sorry, we've got 3 bets for you first, and then we'll move on. Right, departure from the norm now. We're going to leave racing for a little while and talk about football. Now, people who know me will know what an expert I am at football. You would not believe it, but for quite a few years I was deputy sports editor at the Racing Post, and you couldn't have found someone more out of their
Hold on a minute. Let me tell you something before we go any further. Mr. Keeley, didn't you tip Wimbledon to win the FA Cup final?
No, it was Mark Coaten.
Oh, was it? I thought you did that.
I laid it to everybody in the office. I had to get a loan to pay them all out. 1989, that was, wasn't it? Something like that. Yeah, I was a kid. I was an absolute disaster.
I was one.
I know, absolutely nothing.
Had nothing to do with the fact that the office was based in Wimbledon.
Exactly right. Yeah, I know absolutely nothing about football whatsoever. So to help us on the way is head of football, Mark Langdon. He may even have a grander title than that these days. I'm not sure. But when he joined the Racing Post, he was a young lad with no experience whatsoever, and I used to go to him for advice on what we had to put in the paper the next day because he knew everything, and he still does. Mark, how you doing?
Hi, Kills. Yeah, you have demoted me. Let's not worry.
Sports director, there you go.
We won't worry too much about that. No, it was it was really, I think, great way to start the tournament last night. Unless you support Scotland, obviously, Germany came flying out the traps, put in a performance that I think is going to serve notice of their intentions, but they will have to face a lot tougher tests, there's no doubt, than Scotland as we go on.
Yeah, absolutely. I watched that last night in the pub with our producer, and we were talking about bet builders, and he's winding me up saying you don't know anything about these. And then of course we looked in the paper, and there we are, Dan Charles, bet builder, Germany to win, Havertz to score, and the guy who got red carded to be booked 8-1.
Perfect.
First match.
Yeah, Charles, he absolutely nailed that one early doors. I think that Scotland were just, they were awful, weren't they? They just seemed so nervous, didn't play how they can, and if you stand off Germany and let Kroos, Gundogan, Wirtz and Musiala sort of play football, they will absolutely just destroy you. I also think that Angus Gunn in goal for Scotland had a game to forget as well. So yeah, nightmare start for Scotland, no doubt about that.
Absolutely, but if there is going to be a local winner for Britain, it's not going to be Scotland anyway, is it? But it might be England. What do we think of their chances, Mark?
Yeah, they're uneasy in the market. They were very strong and back from like 5-1 into about 3-1 over the course of this season, and then I would say not only that defeat to Iceland, but also the injury to Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw not being fully fit. There is a nervousness about England at the moment. I don't think I'd be backing them at the price that they are now. I think that, of that front two, I would rather be on France, and you could even see probably after sort of first couple of games, wouldn't be surprised if they flip-flop there and France were kind of favourites if you went into the knockout stage. But I still think that they are definitely runners. This is a team that's reached the European Championship final. They've been to a World Cup semi-final. They lost a close game to France in the last World Cup. So this is not like kind of when you were on the sports desk, Kills, and we were just regularly opposing England because they were going off stupidly short. I think the market's much more mature these days. So if England are sort of fighting with France for favouritism, there is a reason for that. Just of the two, I would prefer France.
Right, so that is the Racing Post's long-term pick, isn't it, for the Euros France? But you were also telling me you half fancy Portugal as well. Is that right?
Yeah, if I was to put up a team, it would be Portugal. Almost sort of double the price of France. Have been backed in the last few days. Very strong defence. Cancelo, Dalot. You've got also Ruben Dias, who plays for Manchester City. The midfield is absolutely quality. Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes, and João Palhinha, who plays for Fulham, but probably should be playing for one of Europe's top teams. He nearly went to Bayern Munich. And then you've got Diogo Jota up front and Cristiano Ronaldo as well. Some people think that Ronaldo could be a problem. He's 39, a difficult player to drop. And if he doesn't start well, will some of these younger players get the opportunity? But I think if your biggest problem is Cristiano Ronaldo, then you haven't got that many.
Yeah, no, that sounds fair enough, Mark, because even I've heard of him. Right, so we move further on. England obviously they're looking to get off the mark against Serbia. I've read a bit of it, and there were a few people who think Serbia might actually cause them a few problems.
Well, Serbia have got two strikers in Vlahovic and Mitrovic that will cause England problems. Vlahovic plays for Juventus. Mitrovic is earning a few quid in Saudi Arabia now, but if he wanted to, he could be playing at a very high level. They've got that physical presence that England lack now that Maguire is not in the team. So there are some dangers, unquestionably, from Serbia. I would say, though, on the flip side of that they're the positives for Serbia. Defensively, not a great side at all. They conceded 8 goals in the World Cup and went out in the group stage there. And if you put that defence up against the England attack, Kane, Foden, Saka, Bellingham, I would expect England to make a winning start.
Excellent. You talk about that presence of Maguire. Tom, you'd call him a lummox, wouldn't you?
He's a massive lummox, yeah.
Right, talking to bet builders, Mark, did you have one for the England game?
Yeah, so I'm going to go on the kind of the basis that England will win the match. If I think that there is a clear distinction really between, say, the top 3 or 4 teams in this tournament and the also ran. So I would expect England to win, essentially playing it safe on the over 1.5 goals. But I am slightly wary, I suppose. Opening game in the group stages of the tournaments are not always as open as what that Germany-Scotland game was. So just go for over 1.5 goals. But then to really sort of get some juice into the price, Alexander-Arnold to have a shot on target sounds very much like Gareth Southgate's going to play him in midfield. He can ping a pass, but he's also got a brilliant shot on him. And I'm expecting Serbia to be very physical defensively, and that will lead to free kicks, hopefully, for England. And Alexander-Arnold is absolute master from dead ball situations, and then playing into that physicality. Pavlovic, the Serbian centre-back, definitely, I would say, feels the cliche of what you'd expect of a Serbian centre-half. Very aggressive, plays on the left-hand side, absolute card machine in Austria for Salzburg. Picked up, I think it's 12 or 13 yellows and a red this season, and Salzburg are much better than most of the teams in Austria, so you're definitely going some to pick up those yellow cards, given you've got the ball most of the time. That won't happen against England. So Alexander-Arnold to have a shot on target, over 1.5 goals in the game, England to win, and Pavlovic to be carded.
He's going off, isn't he, Pavlovic? I'm already thinking, well, I wonder what price he is to get sent off. Never heard of him before.
This could be your biggest bet of the week.
To be sent off. Mark, there's got to be plenty of other matches this weekend. Pick of those.
Yeah, I think probably Spain versus Croatia that's taking place today is sort of throws together 2 teams that will feel that they've got a chance, particularly Spain. I mean, we haven't sort of spoken about them too much in terms of the outright market. They've got a 16-year-old called Lamel who plays for Barcelona that just looks absolutely sensational on the wing. I just wonder if they've got enough players of that ability. Got quality in midfield. With Pedri just coming back from injury, but Morata has led the line for Spain for a long time now and has never really looked like he's good enough to win them a tournament, and I'm not sure that's going to change now. Croatia, a team that always underestimated, but in the last 2 World Cups they've reached a final and a semi-final, which is incredible for a country of that size. All about the midfield. Brozovic, Kovacic and Modric, they can keep the ball all day. I would expect Spain to win, but it might be a kind of narrow one, maybe a 1-0 or something like that. But that's definitely the sort of pick of the games over the sort of the first round of group stages. But there's probably sort of better bets elsewhere, I'd say.
Right, talking of better bets, I gather you've put together a treble for us for the first round matches?
Yeah, and this does play into the case of sort of some favourites, because I do think, as I referenced earlier, that the kind of better teams are considerably stronger than sort of the weaker sides now that we've got 24 teams in the Euro. So we'll start with Netherlands to beat Poland. Poland are missing Robert Lewandowski through injury. They qualified up in appalling state, really. They only scored 10 goals in the worst qualifying group. Didn't actually finish in the top 2. Had to go through the Nations League playoff route where they beat Wales despite not having a shot on target. They won on penalties. So I think Netherlands should be sort of easily, if they play to their best, it should be a comfortable enough victory for them. Belgium to beat Slovakia. Belgium front-loaded, so many good attacking players. Lukaku, Doku and Trossard will be the front three with De Bruyne, Onana and Tielemans in midfield. That's really good. The defence is not so good, which is why I don't think they'll be sort of, going past, say, maybe the quarterfinals, but they should be able to beat Slovakia. It's just when they come up against a weaker team that they're going to have problems. And then to get a bit more out of the price, I'm going for Ukraine to beat Romania. You always ask for a dark horse in these tournaments, and I've gone for Ukraine to beat that at around about 100 to 1. So if I think that, I've got to fancy them to beat Romania in this opening game. Ukraine have got Dovbyk up front. He was the top scorer in Spain this season. Lunin, the goalkeeper, played for Real Madrid for most of the campaign. Didn't lose a game in 90 minutes either. He was ill for the final of the Champions League, so he couldn't play. But if you've got a good goalkeeper, you've got a forward that's scoring goals as well. There's a lot of hype around a midfielder called Sudakov as well, that's playing for Shakhtar. They're pretty decent defensively. And then if you even go back to qualifying, they did draw with England and Italy, so around about 100 to 1 outright. I can see them outrunning those odds, and hopefully they can get off to a flyer by beating Romania.
Okay, Mark, that is absolutely brilliant. I'm going to put two more questions to you. Top scorer and player of the tournament, which probably has a far fancier name than that.
No, it doesn't, Kills. It is what it says on the tin. Player of the tournament. It nearly always goes to the winning team. Only once has it not gone to the winning team, and that was when Griezmann won in 2016. So I am going to go for a Portugal player if I've gone for Portugal to win it. And Bruno Fernandes, 40 to 1. He's somebody that in the FA Cup final, the pass he played for Mainu's goal was one of the best bits of football I've seen all season. Man United have been absolute kind of, just a chaotic crisis club for most of the season. So you can't kind of expect him to shine every week because the foundations are not right. I expect him to have, a really big tournament. So he would be the one there. In terms of the Golden Boot, I think that Harry Kane has got a very strong chance for England. I've mentioned that Serbia conceded a lot of goals. Denmark and Slovenia also in England's group. So there's an opportunity to get going as far as England are concerned. Kane is the most likely player to score England's goals, and I think they should be looking at minimum quarterfinals and probably semi-finals with their draw. So, Kane should get a fair run of games and give punters a decent run for their money. If you wanted somebody at a bigger price, Jota, I'm sort of going to go on this Portugal train for the rest of the tournament. But Jota, if you look at Liverpool, I think he's their most efficient finisher. And if he gets the minutes for Portugal, wouldn't be surprised if he has a big tournament as well.
Excellent, superb. Mark Langdon, Group Sports Director, far more important than I'll ever be. Thank you very much. Look forward to having a catch up and a couple of beers soon.
Nice one. Thanks, Gills.
Good stuff. Right, Members Club ad coming, and then we'll be moving on to Ireland. Right, here we go. Everyone's still shaking their heads over Mark Langdon's football knowledge. Yeah, amazing guy. But we're going to move on. We're going to have a look at Royal Ascot, all the Grade 1 races at Royal Ascot coming on. Hopefully, David Jennings, is he joining us now? There he is.
There he is.
There's the man. How are you, DJ?
I don't really like following Mark Langdon, to be honest with you. It's just it's a hard sell, isn't it? David Jennings after Mark Langdon. I'm just wondering.
Well, you can both talk, to be fair.
Are racing enthusiasts, when they watch us talking about racing, now I'm obviously below yourself and Aidan and Tom, but when they listen to us talking about racing, I wonder, do they feel the same way we feel about Mark listening to him talking about football? Because it's like he knows everything. Like, he's reeling off players there. Hang on, I've never even heard of your man that's supposed to be sent off today. So I don't know. Mark, to me, is just my hero. I want to be Mark Langdon.
I never even knew how many yellow cards he had. I can't even remember.
Austria. Yellow cards in Austria.
Yeah.
Absolutely mental. How are you, DJ, anyway?
I'm very good. Very good. Looking forward to seeing you all next week.
Yeah, you're coming over. When are you coming over? Monday?
Coming over Monday morning, with Johnny Deneen, and we're heading to Windsor on the Monday. I'm making my Windsor debut on Monday evening,
Yeah, I'm trying to work this out, you see, because I've got to be there Tuesday and Wednesday, and you've got a house in Windsor, and I'm not allowed in. No room for me.
That's probably because they've got...
I let you in, Hughes. I let you in. You can take my bed. I'll sleep on the floor.
Wouldn't make you do that, mate. Right, so should we go straight into Tuesday's Group 1s then, shall we, chaps?
Yeah, go for it.
Who are we going to start with first? Who's going to win the Queen Anne? Aidan.
Sharon. I know he's a favourite, but he's very solid and he hasn't been doing a lot wrong this year. And it's probably it's lacking a star horse like it has over the years, isn't it?
The thing about Sharon, for me, if somebody told you he'd be favourite for the Queen Anne at the start of the year, you'd have laughed him out of town. Now, obviously, he now almost deserves it, doesn't he?
I think that's a reflection on the Queen Anne.
Does he scare you, though?
Yeah.
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, there's a few in there. I mean, they've ruled. I mean, I think Inspiral's going for the other race, isn't she? The 10 furlong race. So she's probably going to be out of it. I wouldn't be that quick to rule out Big Rock myself. Everyone seems to think it's got to have a heavy ground. He's got very good form on the all-weather, and we always say
it's similar
to Ascot up the straight there on the sort of synthetic.
Of course, he did win a race by a country
and he did
mile
win
at
it.
Ascot.
Everyone's sort of he's becoming a big price because I thought he was Frankel-esque in the QE2 last year, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It was absolutely. Was it the QE2?
Because he got a trainer who doesn't train.
But he's got Sumi on. He's got Sumi on this time. Hasn't he?
I know, but I mean,
wouldn't be quick to rule him out.
At the end of the day, it's how a horse is prepared, isn't it? And it doesn't matter what jockey's got on if the trainer can't do it. Now, maybe he can, and I'm being too cruel, but he's a very low strike weight trainer, not used to dealing with horses at that level. Johnny, have you had any market moves in this race?
Yeah, I'll just get a bit of Ascot housekeeping out of the way. I'll just say we're going to be playing top price guarantee on the first race at Ascot every day from 9 a.m. the day before. So if you want competitive price and good value, don't look anywhere else. This market has sort of come to life in the sort of last day or two with obviously the news of Inspiral going to the Prince of Wales, and Sharon has sort of left himself as favourite by sort of default, really, which is didn't think I'd be saying that at the start of the season. I quite like Factor Cheval here. I can't believe there's hardly any talk or noise about this horse. His form is probably a little bit, he's a class above here. It's usually these horses from Meydan are ones to oppose, but his form last year with Paddington and obviously in the QE2 is top class. I think he could be the horse to beat here for me.
This is the thing about these races, when it's a bad Group 1, you've got to start looking at the handicap as well form, haven't you?
Yeah, that's, you've done it well in the accidental agent for you, Keels.
That's the interesting thing, and I've been harping on about Witch Hunter for ages. He's probably too short now, especially based on that poor effort at Newbury last week. But we both talking outside earlier on, and we both landed on the same one.
Yeah, but don't tell them all. We've got to do this. We've got to do this tomorrow.
Is it a handicapper as well? A former handicapper?
Yeah, Docklands.
Docklands, that's the one I was going to say.
Yeah, oh, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, Harry.
Anyway, you carry on talking. I'm going to have a bit.
Harry, he obviously won the Britannia last year on his. I mean, they sort of were winning up the far side. He beat this side. His horse is on this side by 6-7 lengths, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. We won it by an absolute mile. And the thing is, we don't know what the weather's going to do. But he won there on absolutely bottomless ground. Then he won there by a mile on fast ground. I mean, he goes on anything.
He's always run well on the straight track there, and what he needs is a really strong pace, and he's going to get it. Audience and Big Rocker in there. It's just whether he's got the class. I mean, to me, I'm very much in the Docklands camp, but I do think Big Rock is becoming a big price, especially if there's a bit of rain around.
Yeah, when he won at Ascot last year, if you said he'd be 11-2 for the Queen Anne,
if you said Factor Cheval would be 3-1 and he'd be 11-2 when he beat him by half the track, you would be thinking that's crazy.
DJ, you were a Docklands man?
Yeah, I just thought he was the one horse they haven't got a hold of in the market yet since Inspiral is going the other way. Like he's still 16s. He's the type of horse I could see going off 8s. Do you know that kind of way? He should have won that Paradise Stakes really at Ascot, that trial for this race. Things didn't really go according to plan. Watson soon, he needs to be held up off a strong pace. I think he's going to get that here. The big question is whether he's good enough or not. He mightn't be, But I'd be flabbergasted if he went off 16-1 when kind of we realise what's actually going to run the race. I know he was entered in the Prince of Wales as well, but it seems like they're going to come here now. Just see an update this morning from the track from Will at Ascot, and they're not getting half as much rain as they thought they were going to get. I think it's between 3 and 5 mils between now and start of racing on Tuesday, which means it's going to be quicker than we presumed it was going to be. And that's the worry I'd have for Big Rock. Of the two French horses, I'd be a Facte Cheval fan like Johnny.
Why next to no Irish interest in this heat?
I don't know. I did Aidan O'Brien Stable Tour, and I've done it for the last couple of years for Royal Ascot, and the Queen Anne just seems to be one race he doesn't seem to have a lot. I presume like a lot of the 3-year-olds sometimes get retired after their 3-year-old careers, and obviously the 3-year-olds go for the St James's Palace Stakes. We don't have that many really top-notch older milers at the moment. I don't think we've any, and that's why we've no run on the Queen Anne really.
There we go, fair enough. Shall we move on? Got a few races to get through. King Charles III Stakes, formerly known as the King's Stand. Here we go, big sprinters. Big Ev's winner last year at Royal Ascot.
Yeah, clearly got a good chance, hasn't he? 3-year-olds, I like 3-year-olds in his sprints against the old horse. Got a very good record. Won it last year, didn't they? Bradsell. Not sure he's a fourth. Bradsell was a 21 shot, 25 to 1 shot.
Yeah, fair,
it was a big price anyway, wasn't he? Big Evs looks about right to me. Got nothing against him, but he wins a lot, doesn't he? But I just
is this another race you think is average?
Yes,
again?
I do. I don't think the older sprinters are any good at all, and that's why I give Big Evs a chance. I think there's a couple in there. Twilight Calls, Believing, who was very impressive at Haydock the other day, and Kurdos, who won the Temple Stakes.
I keep backing Twilight Calls.
Just
every time I watch his return this year, I'm still shouting at Ryan Moore, why aren't you getting after him a bit?
Just got to not muck up the stalls, hasn't
absolutely.
he?
Yeah, I mean, he does
5 furlongs, quite hard to give him
slowly, doesn't he? Like, but of course, it's a much stiffer track than Newmarket. Ascot, it does suit him. He's been placed, he's been 2nd and 4th in this race, hasn't he? And he didn't get a run last year when he was 4th. He could have been a bit closer. I liked him. Johnny, any idea from you?
I'll be chancing Kurdos. Obviously, I'll be waiting till we get to what the ground will exactly be. I think Kurdos is improving at the right time. He'll do it for me.
Yeah, he pulled a long way clear last year,
I think he won fast ground. I know he won on soft ground.
5 race, he finished 2nd, didn't he?
And he was in the other group, wasn't he? And he went well clear and just got caught close on. I think he's got a good chance.
I really like regional.
Yeah.
I think he was 2nd first run up at the Curragh there. You know, he had ran since he won the Sprint Cup.
And they'll be delighted with the lack of rain.
And it looks like it's going to be quicker, doesn't it? And you know, he's won at Group 1 level, and I say his first run of this year showed he is all his form.
Let's ask DJ where the Irish sprinters are. It's quite nice, isn't it? It's quite a change from Cheltenham.
Yeah, I'm on the other side of the fence here. You think, given the, you know, as you said, it's definitely not the strongest renewal of this race we've ever seen. Like, it's hard to believe that we haven't thrown something into the mix, and you know, we can't always be relying on Aidan for runners in these races at Royal Ascot. There should be other trainers capable of having sprinters in this race, and like, there's a couple that could be in here, but they're not. I haven't a clue what's going to win this race. I was with Tom for the last few weeks. I was pretty keen on Relief Rally if she showed up here, but she's not entered anymore, and I have no opinion whatsoever. I have no idea what's going to win this race.
That's fair enough. I'm sure a load of people will have a similar opinion, won't they? Including 80% of the people that go to Royal Ascot don't go to the race. Anyway, right, we can move
95.
But we love it.
Yeah.
And we'll go to the next race. Now, this is building into quite a race, isn't it? Obviously, My River Tiber's not going to run, is it? That's why it's 16-1. He's going to go for the Jersey by all accounts. But we have a warm favourite in 2,000 guineas winner, notable Speech.
Aidan was very keen on, give us your case for Henry Longfellow. You gave it to me perfectly outside. Tell us about it.
Obviously, they billed him like that he was going to come on a little bit for the run in France. And if you could see, after 2 furlongs, it was a complete disaster. And he could never win. And Ryan rode him accordingly after that. And I think that's why he's not a way shorter. I'm really sweet on him, yeah. Very good St James's Palace now.
You too, DJ?
Oh yeah, he's one of my strongest fancies of the week. Yeah. I tell you what's very, very strange is that from the word go this season, it's been the St James's Palace Stakes for Henry Longfellow. And, you know, he obviously went to the French Guineas and he was favourite, but I never got the impression that the French Guineas was the be-all and end-all. Like, he was well, I thought he was better than these at 2. He was unbeaten. I thought he was brilliant in the national stakes. I thought that was the day where he really showed that he's top notch. Look, you can go through the Guineas form. Notable speech. Rosalian has franked the form in Ireland. But I don't know. I always thought Henry Longfellow was quite a bit better than River Tiber. Now you disagree, Keels, I know, but I thought the race in France was a total and utter mess. And how he even managed to get beaten the distance, I think he was only beaten just over 3 or 4 lengths in the end. How he managed to even get beaten only that far, given that Ryan basically gave up inside the final furlong and just let him come home nicely in his own time. He was trapped wide, he was keen, he was in the wrong pace, the wrong time. The ground was awful. I know he's fine on any ground really, and he'll cope with cut, but I just think he's the most talented horse in the race. He's been trained for the race, and I think he's better than the English, and I think Henry Longfellow will win.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say I thought he was miles better than Henry Longfellow at all. It's just that when I saw him run in the Irish Guineas, my initial feeling, and after watching the race again, was that he'll beat those 2 next time. And look at the price he is. But then you had to balance into the fact that he's got them, they've got other options, and if Henry Longfellow is the option, then they obviously consider him think that he's the better horse anyway.
Yeah.
Because River Tiber is going to run and probably win the Jersey, but it's still only a group.
It could be a good race. Be Hartem in there. Be a good race, wouldn't it? The Jersey. It is. Yeah. So I'm told.
The thing I thought about River Tiber from doing Aidan Stable Tour, it's a bit like Willie Mullins at Cheltenham and running something in the Mayor's Hurdle rather than the Champion Hurdle or the Stayers Hurdle, with Annie Power a couple of years ago, whatever. I just think Aidan is saying to himself, right, where can we get winners on the board? And I'd say River Tiber is going to be a short price favourite. I know Hatton is in there, but he will be pretty short. I'd imagine he'll be even 6-4 type of thing, River Tiber. And that's a winner, and you've got a leading contender in the St James's Palace Stakes to go along with what they think is probably a winner. So I'd say they're just splitting them up and giving them the easier option, and then they can go back to a mile afterwards or drop down to 6, whatever. I think that's the reason he's running the Jersey.
I think Henry Longfellow's way too short myself.
Do you?
I do, yeah. And the reason I think that is that the French Guineas...
Well, he is basically on what he's done anyway.
It is on what he's done. I mean, as a 2-year-old, but if you're just taking the French Guineas, as I know he got no run, but it's Dancing Gemini that's second. He would be 25-1 against Notable Speech and Rosalian, wouldn't he? He wouldn't even be on the board probably. Roger Teal's horse. And
that's harsh.
It might be a bit harsh.
It might be a bit harsh. Not that harsh, is it? Not that harsh, really. I mean, these two, Notable Speech and Rosalian, are top-class racehorses, in my opinion. I think he's got a step forward to get to their level, even on his 2-year-old form. I really think 3-1's plenty short enough. I like Notable Speech. I thought he was great at in the Guineas.
He went straight as a die.
Unbeaten.
On the turf as well.
Johnny,
first run on the turf.
Johnny, as a bookie, any chance of getting a boil over, as they call it, in this race?
I don't see it. I think the winner will come from the front 3 in the betting. I'm with DJ and Aidan here. I think you can sort of just throw that French form out the window. We saw with Believing 2 weeks ago. She had no run at all in the French 1,000 Guineas and should have won at Epsom. I think the same can be said for Henry Longfellow. You can just completely throw that run out the door. But we've kept him a notch or 2 below the industry since the 5-day decks. I would expect him to go off second favourite and really put it up to Notable Speech. But it's a race that, obviously it's a clash of all the Guineas, and it's really looking forward to one of the races of the week.
Excellent stuff. Right, moving on. Where do we go next? Following day. Come on, lads. Come on. Going to Prince of Wales' Stakes. That is an interesting race. Horse that was thrashed by White Birch last time. A slight favourite ahead of him. August Rodin. Now, I'm giving... there were quite a few of our tipsters in today's paper saying August Rodin was the lay of the meeting. Do you agree with that?
I'm not sure, but this DJ, there's some Irish horses of interest in here. Look, first and second favourite.
Yes, we have a chance here, Tom. We have a chance here. We could get our only winner of the week in this race, didn't we? Yeah. Great story, though. White Birch's great story, John Murphy, it's hard to believe, he trained Newmill to win a champion chase, that's yonks ago, that was just about a 4-day festival when Newmill won the champion chase. And why is Newmill's champion chase so famous? Does anybody know?
Because I tipped it. Fell, wasn't it?
Because I tipped it.
Yeah.
It's about my only winner at Cheltenham.
No, Cono Star, Aidan's right. Cono Star fell in front of the stands, if you remember, that day in the champion chase. But yeah, great story, White Birch. Getting better, getting more straightforward. Definitely has a chance, but I would have fancied Inspired in the Queen Anne. I fancy Inspired in this.
Do you? Even after that run?
I do.
Explain yourself.
Sure. I'd say the Gosden camp are just, they're only coming to the boil now, Keels. I think she'll come on a ton from that, and just go back to her form from the second half of last year. It's outstanding. She's obviously getting weight from the boys, and yeah, I think she'll take a bit of beating.
Fair enough, lads. Any agreement there?
I don't agree with Inspiral, no.
I can't.
I love White Birch. This season he's been he's been taking all before him, hasn't he? He's been very impressive in his 3 wins. He's ran well in England before in the Derby, so
Time was ridiculously good in Ireland last time. He absolutely canted over August Road.
He wasn't beating far at Derby on really fast ground last year. He can obviously handle cut.
Dante was firm, wasn't it?
And he's improved massively as well from a 3 to 4 year old, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just an improved horse who handles anything, isn't he? Yeah, I like him. I can't understand why he's not fav. Johnny, how about you?
Yeah, I think this market will develop a lot nearer the time, obviously depending on how much rain we get. I guess we'll be trying to take on the front 2 here and hoping for a result with something like Inspiral or Horizon Door.
Will Inspiral be a result on the day, John Gosden?
Yeah, August Rodan is always one of the best backed horses.
Right,
I mean, a year ago, if Frankie was riding Inspiral, it would be a different story, but doesn't quite have the same appeal.
Absolutely. So you could get some value about some Gosden horses this year because Frankie's not on them.
Yeah.
But then they might not win.
That's the problem. They've got to win still.
Problem, right, next race, guys. What we got? Here we go, the Gold Cup. Now we need Johnny to tell us about this Gold Cup, don't we?
Yeah, we're going to have a go at getting Kyprios beat. So we're going to do an anti-post boost. We're going to go 5 to 4 for the rest of the day. So this will be available until midnight tonight. We're going to go odds against Kyprios for the Ascot Gold Cup. We think we've got a chance of getting him beat. He might not be quite as good as he was 2 years ago.
Here we go, 5 to 4 Kyprios. Would that interest you?
No.
It's very short, but I can't see what's going to beat him.
Would it interest you, Keels?
I don't bet those prices. When I do, they lose.
So do you fancy him?
I think he's the one to beat. I wouldn't entirely trust him.
No.
I don't think he's as good as he was 2 years ago.
Well, that's the question then, because he only beat Burning Victory by a length and a half in the race 2 years ago, and Burning Victory would not be lace Vauban's boots.
It's not absolutely standout form, is it?
No, it's not standout form. The one standout form is at Longchamp, isn't it?
Yeah.
When he ran across the track and won by 33 lengths or whatever he won by that day. But the rest of it is good without being standout good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't think he's
won 10 of his 14 races.
Yeah. I mean, he's absolutely.
But
he did when he went to the Queen's Vase. He did actually jump out the stalls and was withdrawn at Royal Ascot when he was a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
He ran terribly in the Lingfield Derby trial when I thought he was a good thing, and so he's not 100% straightforward. But look, he's got the best form.
He's got talent, but I mean, they were good horses. This is building into a good race. Gregory, Vauban, I like Trawlerman.
With a bit of rain, Trawlerman.
And old Coltrane. I mean, he was my each way one.
Yeah.
Because I just thought, he's just going to run his race. He just runs his race year in, year out.
Yeah.
He just beaten in the race last year.
Sweet William at 14 is a good each way bet, isn't it?
Yeah, he's another one.
You can make cases for plenty, basically, can't you?
Vauban's interesting, isn't he? Because if he stays the trip, is he going to stay the trip? DJ, you fancy him, don't you? Do you think he'll stay the trip?
Oh, I do, yeah. I've had a little nibble on him at 10s. I just thought the price has been wrong for the last few weeks. He's into 7s and 6s now. He's the type of horse I can see going off 4s maybe, or 7 to 2. I think he'll stay. Look at the Copper Horse handicap last year, and that was a 1.6 miles. Turned into the straight, you're kind of going, he's vulnerable here, he's definitely vulnerable. And he absolutely swallows up the ground, wins by whatever, 7.5 lengths from Absurd. Give him another 6 furlongs, I think he would have won by a mile. I do think he'll stay. I think he's, if you take the Melbourne Cup run out, and by all accounts, he was well over the top and too long in Melbourne last year. I think he basically left his race behind earlier on in his trip over there to Melbourne. But if you take that race away from him, like his form is so solid. Like, he got a Racing Post rating of 119 for winning the Copper Horse handicap last year. He doesn't have that much to find on the figures at all. You kind of think that Kyprios is basically Yates, and you're saying, oh my God, how can Vauban beat Kyprios? But he's not really on the figures, and I just think he's had a lovely pipe opener at York. He's been trained for this race and probably 2 targets this race and back to the Melbourne Cup, and I think he's a big player. Look, if all the horses were all the same price, we'd be back in Kyprios, but they're not, and there's no way there should be. Like, basically on Monday of this week, Vauban was 10-1 and Kyprios was 4-5, and I thought that was mental.
Yeah, I can see the case for quite a few in this race. Who did you like best?
I like Gregory a bit. I mean, I'm not sure 5-1 on form is the right price, but he just looks like the type of horse that's going to completely take off when he goes to 2.5 miles. He just looks like your archetypal Ascot Gold Cup horse, bit like the one last year, Courage Mon Ami. He's got actually better form than Courage Mon Ami did before he came in and won it last year.
It's for you, this, isn't it?
It is. I like it. I like class horses stepping up in trip. I think we get too bogged down in trips. It's got to stay. I like horses that are doing something different a bit, and I think Gregory is the type of horse. I mean, he could get it completely wrong.
And might just be a little bit better.
Yeah,
I think they all stay in a race like this because they go so slow. We're worried about the 2.5
before developing into a slow one, and then the next year's ones come along.
Exactly. Then you're looking for the next one. But I agree with Aidan a bit. I think
very few don't really turn in at the 2-pole and be hard in the bridle and don't get home in an Ascot Gold Cup. Right. Really, they go very slow for the first mile, so they all stay.
Yeah. Getcha. Right, Johnny, you want to take Kyprios on, but who would you say was the one most likely? Who's the one you're most looking forward to beating him?
I agree with everything that Tom's just said there. I think Gregory's the one who could take a huge step forward here at this trip.
Excellent stuff. Right, move on. Next race. I have no idea how many more we've got to go. There's about 8 grade ones.
Keep going. Commonwealth Cup, my favourite race.
Friday, mustn't it?
Yeah.
We're on a Friday?
Friday,
yes.
Yeah,
Here we
Friday,
go, we're on a Friday, I know now. Van Dijk still favourite after getting
trolleyed
by Inner Sharing, who's not yet in it, but might well be later on today. Is it today? 5 days today?
Yeah, I think so.
Friday, yeah. Elite Status, another one of yours?
Yeah. Well, we backed him last year, didn't we? We saw him at Sandown. We thought he was great.
Yeah.
But he was a little bit disappointing after this. There's plenty in there. I quite like Jasor, but I'm a big believer in pedigrees. I'm a big believer in class. And you got the Havana Greys, is it? Van Dijk, Elite Status, Havana Gold.
Yeah.
Oh no, Havana Grey.
Havana Grey.
Yeah, Havana Grey, I think it is. Or might be wrong. It might be Havana Gold, one of them.
I've got to look him
but
up.
Van Dijk, Elite Status, and Jasor are all by the same sire, aren't they?
Right. Yeah.
And I like classy pedigrees. Inner Sharon is by Shamadal. He's just a bit. For me, when it comes to the races like this, pedigrees come out at the top, and so I would be, if Inner Sharon is a runner, I'd be very keen on him to beat Van Dijk, Elite Status, and Jasor, because I don't think River Tiber's going to run here.
But it's not the strongest Group 1, really, is it?
It's not.
It's
not.
How many times are we going to say that this week about Royal Ascot?
Well, I think the Commonwealth's clinging
rubbish,
on
isn't it? Can't we just preview all the handicaps? It's much more fun.
Look, Porta Fortuna's interesting if she runs here. Yeah. Porta Fortuna isn't out of this by any stretch of the imagination.
I don't think anything's out of this race, really. If you know
Porta Fortuna, DJ?
Yeah, I like Van Dijk. I think it's a bit like Perfect Power a couple of years ago. Perfect Power was beaten in the Guineas and then came here, and everybody was kind of like, oh, it's Perfect Power, just a 2-year-old, and it bolted up in the Commonwealth Cup. I think with Van Dijk, it was perfect case of needing a proper blowout. I just think that 2-year-old form, and especially that 2-year-old form in the Middle Park, like that's exceptional. To win a Middle Park so easily with the likes of River Tiber, Give Me the Beat Boys, Task Force, like Starlust was hammered in that Middle Park, and I'd imagine like a horse like Van Dijk has had one ultimate aim this season, and well, certainly in the first part of the season, that's Commonwealth Cup, and then maybe go on to the July Cup. But yeah, I think he's going to improve hand over fist from that return, and I think he's the best horse in the race.
How many times, man, DJ? Porta Fortuna was quite a bit quicker than Van Dijk that day when she won the Cheveley Park. I just think that the prices are just as slight as if she runs here rather than going for the Commonwealth, which I think she will, because I think that'll be too tough for her. A mile round the bend there against those good fillies. I wouldn't be surprised if she ran well at 16-1.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, definitely.
What we got next, Keels? You're up.
Havana Gold is the sire of Havana Grey.
There we go.
You know your stuff. You're going to grandsires now and everything. Yeah.
I won the Guineas for Hugo Palmer.
No, didn't.
Havana Gold.
No, Galileo Gold won the
Galileo
Guineas.
Gold.
Havana Gold was trained by Richard Hannon.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, so
Could ask Richard Hughes about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Go back to Spain.
So no, I don't know anything about pedigrees whatsoever. I was making it up as I go along.
Oh, here we go. This is a good
Right,
race, isn't it?
It's very
Coronation
good race.
Stakes. Here we go. We got a very, very impressive winner last time of the Irish 1000, but is not favourite.
Interesting, that, isn't it?
Very interesting.
Favourite. Why not favourite?
Is she going to run? Is she going to run?
Fallen
Is that
Angel.
Fallen Angel not going to run.
Well, I was in the Curragh when she won, and Carol Burke was very much lukewarm about Royal Ascot and thought the French Oaks was going to be our next port of call. But that was a while ago. So
The French Oaks is tomorrow, DJ, and she's not entered.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that is. Do you know what that is, Tom?
Yeah.
That's a very, very good point.
But one who is
Yeah,
entered,
she
one who
obviously
is
does go
entered, one who is entered is Dance Sequence. So therefore, she won't be running in this race.
Right, okay. But Opera Singer's looking quite a strong favourite, DJ.
Yeah, this was one of the ones that obviously needed to run on her return in the Irish 1000 Guineas. Look, we've said it time and time again. I've said it on a couple of things. I was shocked at how shocked Aidan was at how well she ran, because he was expecting her to run so poorly. I think it was a case just throwing her in there, seeing how she gets on, and she'll come on a ton for it. The one thing I think about Opera Singer here, you'll see her ridden really positively. I think you'll see her in the first 2 or 3. I could see her taking it up on the home turn and playing Catch Me If You Can, like she did when she won in France on Arc Weekend. I'd say she'd be extremely hard to beat.
So you must agree, Johnny, having her so short.
Yeah, we've always been sort of a price or two under the industry on Opera Singer. I think she'll take a huge step forward. I think we'll be trying to take on Fallen Angel and El Malka from the English Guineas. I imagine Ramachuel will run a lot better. The Ocean's been booked. You can sort of see her being held on right till the last minute. But Opera Singer is one we'll be trying to do a little damage limitation as a favourite.
Now, Ramachuel, I was one of a few people in this building who had a few quid each way on her at big prices for the Guineas. Did the jockey go too soon, or did she just not stay? I mean, she did trade a monster on price.
Bit of both.
Because you went too soon, probably. Yeah.
Bit of both. I mean, it's a great race, isn't it?
Chance round the bend, as long as she doesn't get a wide draw.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that
Stay, wouldn't it, around the bend?
Fallen Angel goes forward. Opera Singer's going to go forward. Ramachuel's bit keen.
Suit her.
That could suit her. Whether she'll quite get home if they go very strong
Quite
pace.
good enough, is she?
Yeah, don't know.
Was she second in 2 or 3 Group 1?
Yeah, she was.
Didn't win one.
She was. El Malka's is going to drift, because I think everyone's against her. But people are forgetting it was only her 3rd ever run when she won the Guineas.
Fell in, and there were maybe excuses.
She did
for
fall
ones
in, and there
who
might
were in front and were behind.
And there might have been a big draw advantage that day, wasn't it? 16, 15, 14 or something were first, second and third. So it's possible, but I just think she might get too big a price, because I think everyone's against her for those reasons. And she still is an improving filly. She's only had 3 runs. She's very well bred. So not totally against her, but I think Opera Singer's probably going to be the one to beat, because she was
nearly 5 lengths behind Fallen Angel, though. It's a long way, isn't it?
Yeah, but you can't. Yeah.
Are you a Fallen Angel
I
fan?
think I am. Yeah, I thought she was very impressive, and she was strong at the line as well in the Curragh, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was.
I thought she looked really good there. And again, you talk about some of Aidan O'Brien's horses not performing first time out. She didn't show anything in the Guineas, did she? But it's a completely different story.
Yeah.
She'll like some rain, I think. I'd be slightly worried if it got quick.
Yeah. Which is looking like it could do it this season, isn't it?
Too darn hot.
English weather.
Yeah, who knows?
We don't know. Right, let's move on.
What's next? It's like generation game, isn't it? What's coming next?
22nd of June. This could be the last one. This could be the last one. Is this the last one?
Look at that, 7 to 1 the field, Kills. This is your type of race, Kills. What do you fancy?
Kinross.
And it's Kinross. And Millstream. I didn't
thought
fancy either of them.
Kinross would retire.
Kinross must be about 14 at this stage.
Kinross is an absolute legend. But he won't be winning.
He's only 7.
Yeah,
Jesus.
but he's not going to be winning that on fast ground, is he? I don't think. Yes, I know he's got some form of fast ground, but we all know once.
I know a man who does fancy something here, Keels. He's been banging the drum
I like
for the last few
Chartash.
weeks.
I like
Chartash. I'll let you take
Chartash.
over, Tom.
Archie the inventor, he's incredibly good at sprinters. He's incredibly good at Royal Ascot. Did he have 3 sprinters last year or 1? St. Lawrence won the Wokingham, Rhythm and Hooves won the Prince of Holyrood, Bradsell won the what was called the King's Stand then. Chartash has taken off since being gelded, and he was a very good 2-year-old. Beat Blackbeard as a 2-year-old. And Blackbeard won loads of Group 1s afterwards for Johnny Murtagh. Had a few issues as a 3-year-old. Archie's gelded him. He's come back. I thought he was really impressive on his first run. I think it was at Thirsk, was it? And when he beat Ramazan now, and that's not Group 1 form, but he absolutely annihilated him. And then he went to Thirsk, to Haydock, and Pogo is a very, very good horse when he gets an easy lead round Haydock. He proved it again the other day. He didn't get an easy lead and still ran very well. And Chartash left him for dead at the furlong pole, went about 4 clear and then sort of got tired over 7. Back at 6, I would like a bit of rain for him ideally, but I think he's got a very good chance because I don't think it's a great race this. I think he'll go really well because Regional is going for the 5 furlong race as well.
Rain came, you'd really fancy Art Power.
Yeah, he'd go well too. He'd go well too.
It's a very open race.
Yeah.
Would Art Power be your selection?
If rain came, yeah, I think he's...
What about you, Keels? You're like this. This is 7-1. This is your race.
Loads of my old favs in it, and I missed the boat at Washington Heights. I love Washington Heights. I think he's going to win. I think he's going to win a Grade 1. I do at some point, and it'll be when no one expects it as well.
Whether Ascot making the running.
Not sure Ascot. Just going to set it up for something else.
Mick Barhy could go well. Jamie Spencer special.
Yeah, could do, couldn't he? I mean, he came from nowhere, didn't he?
Yeah.
In Ireland last time.
To beat Regional,
I can see that. If there's a bit of cut in the ground, I'd certainly be interested in backing Kinross at 7. So I haven't seen him for a while.
I suppose if Regional runs well on the Tuesday,
Mick
Barhy would be.
I mean, the trainer was really sort of not wanting to run in the 6 furlong race anyway, wasn't it? It was a case of if the ground's going to be soft on Tuesday, then we'll wait till Saturday. I'm not sure he wants a stiff 6.
Well, Mick Barhy would come in and price, wouldn't he, if he wins?
Yeah.
DJ, are you claiming Chartash? He was Irish.
Yeah, it'd be half a winner for us, I think. Johnny Murphy used to have Chartash. Used to be Aga Khan, actually. Speaking of rain, obviously if the rain comes, Kinross going to be much shorter, but if the rain comes, I'd be very interested in Montasib, who just needs cutting the ground. But I do think on soft ground, or certainly softish ground, I think there is potentially a Group 1 in Montasib over 6. So I'd be keeping an eye on the weather. Montasib maybe taking a chance at 20s or 25s in the hope that a bit of rain comes later on in the week. So I think he's a player.
Yeah, it's one of those races. 7-1 the field now. It won't be much different on the day, will it? It's going to be really, really hard. Loads of runners. Is that it? Is there any more races at Royal Ascot? We got lucky. We've got other people who haven't given their lucky 15s yet. One of them being the man to my left, Aidan Coleman.
Come on, Aidan, you're lucky 15.
Royal Ascot lucky 15.
Oh, did you? Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
There it is. Right,
503
so Henry Longfellow.
Yeah, we gave his case, yeah.
Yeah, Fallen Asian United, Kiprios and Van Dijk. So you think he's going to get some sort of redemption?
I think so. He was such a good 2-year-old, wasn't he? He was best of these. One bad run.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought he'd win at Haydock, and got more abuse than I've ever had on Twitter for saying that for some reason. Don't know why. There you go. So there we go. What does that pay? 503.
We get 5 to 4 now, can't he? Oh no, it probably doesn't work for a lucky 15, does it, Johnny?
Lucky 15.
Singles only.
Singles only.
All 4 winners pays 503 quid. I'd like you to know that all 4 winners of mine paid 99 grand. But 2 of them aren't going to run. So
same as mine, isn't it? So my lucky win, exactly.
And did we have another one? Did we have another?
Yeah, DJ's is coming up.
DJ's is coming up. I thought DJ must have done 8 of these.
yeah, mine's a lucky 63. I know, when you joking. I tried to get in a horse, but there's no betting on it yet. The horse I'm most excited about seeing at Royal Ascot is a horse called Age of Gold, who won at Yarmouth. To me, he's the best juvenile I've seen so far this season. I think he's going to go in the Chesham, and I just loved what he did at Yarmouth. But there's no price on the Chesham yet, so keep an eye on that. That's Age of Gold for Godolphin. So mine is Henry Longfellow. We've spoken about Vauban. We've spoken about the 2 we haven't spoken about. My nap of the week is Israr. In the Wolferton. Bit of a kind of an early horse, but he ran to a mark of, I think, 119 or something at Chester behind Passenger. that's been good enough to win, I think, 5 of the last 6 run-ins of this race. I think he's just crying out for a mile and 2, fast pace. His 2 runs this season, I thought if Jim Crowley held on to him a little bit longer at Sandown, he probably would have won. And then there were miles clear the third at Chester, himself and Passenger. And Passenger was originally favourite for the Prince of Wales Stakes. So I think that's really strong form, and he's dropping in class here for a race like this. I think it's tailor-made from, I think he's 6s at the minute. I could see him going off much shorter. Israr in the Wolferton on Tuesday. And the other one I have is, what have I not spoken about? Oh, Van Dijk, who we have spoken about. He went in as a replacement for Age of Gold. So there you go. That's my lucky 15.
Excellent. Good man, DJ. Right, we're coming to the end now. Best bets of the weekend. They should be coming up on screen.
I hope they come up because I can't remember. There we go.
We're going to explain ourselves in order, which means me. I'll go first. Boardman. I like Boardman. I've loved him for ages. He's 80 years old now. He normally does all his winning in May, but he was back late this year, and he was a big eye catcher at Chester last time. Jockey was looking down as though something was amiss, turning around home bend, and then decided he was okay, and he flew in the last half a furlong or so. Has one on heavy ground. I don't think he actually wants it that soft, so I hope there isn't too much rain there. Aidan for Bermuda.
Yeah, we spoke about her earlier. I think like she's Group Filly.
6 to 1.
Yeah, 6 to 1's a great price as well, I think.
Tom.
Yeah, Lord Melbourne, spoke about him earlier. I think Serena Brotherton, I like jockey angle in that race and think she's really good, and so he'll do for me.
Right, last week I took the mickey out of DJ for going to catch it because
Did it win?
Should have won.
0 to 56. He should have won it. Finished second. Finished second. Travelled sweetly all the way through. Got the run, and then.
Where is he today? Bath.
And he's gone to Bath.
Having a bath. Havana. It's a filly called Havana Dance for Johnny Portman. You might think it's mad. Look, there's a winner in the race, but Havana Dance running in a maiden at Goodwood on her first start. She was 40 to 1, a massive outsider. And you know, Tom will know this, with Johnny Portman's horses, like they very rarely win on debut, but they do take a massive step forward from first to second start. And I don't think she actually has to step forward that much. Like, she finished 4th in that maiden that Jakarta won for the Coles. The form is already working out really well, because the 7th horse that day was Celandine, who won a maiden at Windsor on Monday, got a terrific ride from Tom Marquand, got out quick, got the rail, and it was a strong enough maiden that Celandine won and was well on top of the line. The 2nd horse was really well backed as well. Havana Dance, that was over 6. Havana Dance travelled so sweetly through the race and then did quicken at the furlong pole, but just in the last 100 yards she got a little bit tired. She was only beaten 3 lengths. I'd say she'll come on plenty for it. She looks to have loads of speed. I think Bath will suit, and I think she'll beat the favourite. So Havana Dance in the 220 at Bath.
Brilliant, well done DJ. And Johnny, complete the lucky 31.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Crystal Flyer in the 130 at Sandown. I think she could be better than a mark of 84. So these are all boosted in the specials part of the site. Boardman 11 to 1, Forward Bermuda 6 to 1, Lord Melbourne out to 6 to 1. I imagine that'll be very popular. Havana Dance at 9 to 2, and then Crystal Flyer at 13 to 2.
Brilliant stuff, Johnny. Thanks a lot, guys. We're right at the very end now. The pubs have been open for nearly half an hour and I'm not in one. I'm going to rectify that very, very shortly. Thanks for joining us, DJ, Johnny, Tom, and
Gills.
Aidan. And are you here next week?
I'm not here. Aidan's here next week.
Aidan's here next week.
I'm at Ascot next week.
You're at Ascot, yeah. And I'll see you next week also as well, DJ.
Yeah, I'll see you and Tom next week.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to it. I haven't seen Tom in a while.
Brilliant. Thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you next week.